Hi there. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from wherever you're joining us from. My name is Tanner, and I'm with Coassemble. I'm joined by Haley from Biteable. How are you doing, Haley?
Hey everyone, I'm great. Thank you, Tanner. Super excited to be here with everybody this afternoon and chat with all of you.
Awesome. Yeah, we're super excited to chat you through sort of our two different tools, Coassemble and Biteable, and how they work really well together as a complement to deliver some really amazing video training. Just some housekeeping that we'll quickly run through. Myself and Haley will be hosting this webinar, but we'll be joined by my colleague Nick over in the chat, who will be over there fielding questions. So if you have any questions at all as we run through this, please feel free to drop in your questions there. Nick will be there. If we have time at the end, we'll also be able to answer any questions that get upvoted. So feel free to use either the chat or the questions tab, depending on which you prefer. Nick will also be dropping in some polls as we go through, just to kind of see where everyone's at. I think it's really helpful for us to know where our audience is at in terms of their training initiatives. Also, it's really interesting for you to see where other companies like yours are with regards to their training. So let's do a quick test to see if you can find that chat on the right-hand side of the screen. Let's go ahead and everyone, let us know where you're coming in from today. I expect that we have people from all over the world, but I'm curious to see where everyone is. Cool, we've got Hawaii, Louisville, New Zealand, very cool. Going to the other side of the world, so good morning to you in New Zealand and Australia.
See a couple people from Canada. Shout out Canada. I'm currently just outside of Vancouver.
Cool. And I'm in Denver, Colorado, here in the States. So I see someone in Switzerland, Michael. So good evening to you. Cool. All right, well, let's go ahead and kick it off. This is going to be a fun one. So I really want to see engagement in the chat. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in. But we'll go ahead and get started. So today we're going to be talking about two tools in conjunction, Coassemble and Biteable. And again, my name is Tanner. I'm on the Coassemble team. I'm an accounting executive here. I've probably worked with thousands of organizations over the past 2.5 years in terms of helping organizations get their training online. Essentially, Coassemble is the world's easiest course builder. So if you're looking to take an idea that you have in your head, or perhaps a company best practice, and put that into a course, Coassemble allows you to build and develop, disseminate, and then track progress across that training in a really simple online way. Haley, would you like to tell us about Biteable?
Definitely. So as Tanner mentioned, my name is Haley. I am the social growth marketer at Biteable. So I handle all of our organic social channels as well as managing our Biteable community on Facebook. And Biteable is the world's simplest video maker. So typically when you think of video marketing, you think of expensive, time-consuming, and just a bit too difficult. But Biteable is hoping to change all of that. We have hundreds of customizable templates that you can choose from, so you can have a professional video ready with all of your branded assets in about 10 minutes. And later today, I will take you through those templates and show you just how cool they are, how customizable they are, and just how easy it is to incorporate video into your marketing or your training programs.
Awesome. Thanks, Haley. So let's talk about what we're going to cover today. So a few things, actually. We'll first cover the benefits of training with video. There are a lot of benefits to incorporating a video element into your training if you're not already. We'll also talk about how to create training in Coassemble. In just a matter of minutes, we'll actually show you like how to do it, how to add a video very, very quickly, or other resources if you have them, how to build, say, a quiz into that element. Next, how to actually sort of incorporate the two. So how to take, say, content from Biteable into your into your Coassemble course. And then finally, what are the benefits there of putting it all together? So we'll kind of talk through that. We'll show you an actual demo of the platforms today as well, so you'll get to see how to build a course, how to build a Biteable video, and then put it all together, as Haley said. And again, if we have time at the end, we'll do a little bit of Q&A. All right, so first, let's run through what the benefits of online training are. Now, most organizations, especially after 2020, are using online training for at least a portion of their company training. Perhaps not all, but at least a portion. Many organizations nowadays are doing all of their training online, whether that's for your customers or for your internal staff, sometimes both. There are a lot of benefits to online training if you're not already leveraging a platform. We really break down those benefits into probably 3 different categories based on the stakeholders involved. So the first stakeholder that I would say would be the course builder, someone who is responsible for ensuring training goes out. The second stakeholder I would say is someone who's receiving the training, what we call in Coassemble the learner, so someone who receives those courses. And then finally, and perhaps the most important stakeholder, is the business, right? So what are the benefits to the business overall? So quickly, just to run through those, the benefits to the course builder, or maybe the admin on the training system, it's really important, right, to be able to get out effective training that's in line with your company best practices or values, whether that's, again, external training to your customers or clients, or internal training to your internal employees. It's really important to get a consistent message out. Historically, training managers perhaps would have hosted live synchronous events. Synchronous meaning all the learners in the same place at the same time, perhaps in the same physical location. That's really hard to do. As soon as you start scaling your training to numbers of learners, say even over 5, it can be hard to get all of your learners into the same spot at one time. It makes it really hard as well if you don't have all of your learners in the same place at one time to get a consistent training message out from different training session to training session. So online training, it's really simple to actually put your training together and get a consistent message out one time, regardless of when your learners access that training. Flash to the next stakeholder group, the learner. Man, if I'm ready today, Tuesday, to take a course, why do I have to wait till my trainer is ready on Friday? Why do I have to wait until everyone else is ready on Friday? That's sort of the historical model, right? Meeting in a classroom, or perhaps like a Zoom room, which we saw a lot of last year. Asynchronous training, which means that learners can take the training on their own time, allows them to do it anywhere, anytime, from any device. And that's the benefit of an online training platform like Coassemble. The final benefit of an online training platform is, of course, to the business. And again, regardless of whether you're doing this externally or internally, there are huge benefits. Number one, being able to cut cost, a really big one. I used to work for a large organization that flew me to a conference room. And that's pretty expensive if you're doing that with hundreds or thousands, perhaps, of employees. An online training platform allows you to get out a consistent message to your employees, engage them with things like quizzes and checkpoint questions that you can't really do easily in a classroom. And then finally, just get tracking automated across the board. You don't have to task your trainer with tracking in a manual spreadsheet like you may have done in years past. A platform like Coassemble will do it all for you. So needless to say, there are a lot of benefits of using online training. If you aren't already, I would definitely encourage you to check it out. All right, the next one I'll flip over to Haley. Why to use videos in online training?
Perfect. Thank you, Tanner. So as we all know, 2020, crazy year. A lot of things happened. Most companies went either fully remote or partially remote. A lot of people are still working from home. And a lot of training programs, as Tanner mentioned, shifted to remote training because they kind of had to. You couldn't be in person and onboard new employees. So video is so engaging and efficient. It's a great way to introduce your employees to the company. And it's just the perfect way to establish those emotional connections. You have the images that you can put into videos, the transitions and the music, they all come together to create the scene of what working at your company will be like. Either make it super exciting or share how passionate you are about your vision and your mission. It's just way easier to kind of pull on those heartstrings than it is to look at a pile of paperwork and read about somebody's mission. Also, video really focuses on those visual learners, and about 66% of learners are visual learners. So imagine you are working alone in your home office, you haven't met any of your fellow employees, you have this stack of paperwork, just not really gonna resonate with you. You're probably not gonna really enjoy your onboarding program. It won't really be all that memorable. So it's really exciting now that the video is becoming so much more accessible and easier to put together, as we'll show you today. And there are a few stats up on the screen there that you can go through. My favorite is 75% of employees are more likely to watch video than read text or training. As I mentioned earlier, it's just so much quicker to watch a 2-minute video than it is to read 10 pages worth of documents that probably provide about the same amount of information. So really excited to show you how both Biteable and Coassemble can come together and really elevate your training programs together.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Haley. All right, so let's cut to the chase. Let's see how it all comes together. So I know that we do have a lot of Coassemble users already in this webinar. I'm curious if you can just pop in the chat. I'm curious who here already uses Coassemble. And while you're doing that, I'll just bring up my screen and we'll look at Coassemble first. All right, cool. I see a lot of users there. Amazing. Cool, so we created a demo workspace for today's webinar, a company called Rocket SaaS. We created a few different courses here just as an example, and what we'll do is we'll quickly run through how easy it is to actually develop your course, and then also we'll flip it over to Haley at Biteable, and we'll show how to actually bring in a video. What we're looking at right now is the main landing page if I'm an administrative user. So if I'm a trainer looking to actually develop a course on Coassemble, this is what I'd look at. And you can see here, there are a few different courses which we have already built out. When we think of a course on Coassemble, we're really thinking about like a container of training content. So any assets that you have that you want to bundle up into a shared course, similar topics, you would bundle those up into a course and disseminate those to your learners. Now, a course could have many different assets. We're talking about video today, but you could also include other things. If you wanted to include what we call a lesson, where you could have sort of like, I would call it a souped up PowerPoint, you could put that in there as well. And one thing that's really unique about Coassemble is that it includes an authoring tool, what is basically a course builder. So if you don't have any content already and want to build a really engaging training experience, with videos in there as well, you can do that with Coassemble's course builder. You can also build things like quizzes, which are really engaging and ways to actually ensure that your learners are retaining the information before they say move to the next topic. So I'll quickly show you how to actually build out a course. But this is right off the top, like really, really clean and easy, which is probably one of the reasons that people really like Coassemble, or at least probably the #1 reason. So let's go into this sample course. We've got onboarding for customer success, which is one of the use cases that we tend to see a lot, is where customer success team members will actually use a Coassemble course to train their customers on how their product works. The first thing you'll see across the top is just a number of different tabs. So if you're a first-time course builder, don't worry, you're actually in good hands, you're in good company, because most people who use Coassemble have never developed an online course before. If you have, I'm curious to hear what you think, because a lot of people really like our authoring tool. But essentially, you would just follow these tabs from left to right. So overview, this is basically where you build sort of like the title page for the course, right? So just welcoming your learners to the experience. We really like a bullet point structure here, just to sort of set the scene for what's going to happen in this course. Now, as you can see, we can also add a video. So if I wanted to add a welcome video to this very first page, I can do that. I could build something on Biteable and then just simply present it here, which is a really nice way to sort of welcome your learners to this experience. This is just the first page though, and where the learning will really take place are in the next sections, which we call modules. Now, modules are individual experiences. You can have a lot of different types of modules in the same course. And again, these are sort of like your different training assets. So if you wanted to have a video, you can go ahead and start with that. If you wanted to do a CEO welcome, if you wanted to have, again, sort of like a souped up PowerPoint experience, you could build that. That's called a lesson on Coassemble. And you can actually build different templated screens directly into the interface. If you wanted to build a quiz, like we have here, just to ensure that everyone understands, right, the content that you've disseminated before, say, getting their certificate, you could do that as well. It's all really easy and right here at the tip of your fingers. Now, if I wanted to add a video from Biteable, I'm going to flip it over to Haley to show us how to actually build that video, and then we'll drop it into Coassemble and sort of finish it off.
Perfect. Thank you, Tanner. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And if you've ever used Biteable before, I think we have a few users at the webinar today. Go ahead and drop it in the chat if you have a favorite thing about Biteable, or if you've never heard of it before, that's okay too. Hopefully that'll change today. So as I mentioned earlier, the best thing about Biteable, in my opinion, is our library of templates. We have hundreds and hundreds of templates for just about any situation, whether you are selling wine or doing Facebook ads. We've got a pre-made template ready for you. So this is our template page here. As you can see, we have a few different categories on the left-hand side, or you can just scroll through, see if there's something that calls to you. If you hover your mouse over any of the templates, you'll get a little preview of what they look like. So today, I'm actually going to be making a video for Rocket SaaS, and I'm going to edit one of our corporate templates and customize it a little bit. And the whole point of the video will be to welcome a new employee and kind of give them a sense of what they can expect their first week in the company. So here is a Biteable template. This is in our corporate section. And as of right now, I've added a few of Rocket SaaS's branding assets like the logo and a few of their branding colors. Aside from that, I haven't really done anything to the template, so I'm going to customize it with all of you right now. We're going to make it look a lot more professional and a lot more custom, and just put all of our branding in so it looks like something that really fits in with the rest of our course. So if we jump into the Style tab on the left-hand side here, this is a relatively new addition to Biteable within the last month or two. This allows you to view all of your scenes in one place and make bulk changes across all of your scenes. So if you want to change the colors, see what works, what doesn't work, this is a great way to do that. So I'm going to start with changing the colors of some of the animations. So I'm going to select the first scene, fourth scene, and final scene. Right now we have this black animation, which is cool, but I'd love for it to be purple. And I'm going to put in the hex code of the Rocket SaaS purple, click enter, and as you can see, it changes our animation color across all of those scenes at once, which is pretty cool. It's looking better already. Next, I'm going to select the background of scenes 3, 5, 6, 8, and 10. And here I'm going to change the background color to the same purple. There we go. And now you can see the black text is a little bit tough to read, so I'm just going to go ahead and change that primary text color to white. There we go. And we're almost finished. Now I'm going to take scene 7 and 9 and change that background color to pink, and I have that hex code ready, so I'm just going to paste it in here. Perfect, and I'm also going to change that text color to white. So as you can see, our video is already looking a lot better. It looks a bit more on brand, a little bit more custom, but there are still a few changes that I'd like to make. So I'm going to jump back into the Edit tab on the left-hand side. This will bring us back to our main video here. So there are a few points to mention. We've got our timeline along the bottom. This will show you all of the different scenes in your video. You can lengthen or shorten any of the scenes simply by holding and dragging. So you can make it longer or shorter in half-second increments. There's also a few animations that you can add and transitions just to kind of give your video that extra oomph. So we have some scene transitions. In our templates, we have scene transitions built into the video for you already, but you can change them if you'd like. So we've got a few different scene transitions there. If you click on the logo, we also have different logo animations. You can click them and it'll show you what that looks like. It's pretty cool. And then we also have the same for text. So you can do different text animations as well. Again, if you click it, it'll give you a little preview of what it would look like in your video. So I'm going to scroll along the timeline. There's one scene that's missing a picture. It looks a little bit weird, so I'm going to put a custom picture in for us. So I'm going to just click on the camera there and select Replace Background. Now, if this were a real company, you could upload your own photos or images, but since Rocket Sauce is fictional, I'm just going to choose from Bitable's stock library. So you have access to about 1 million pieces of stock images and videos within Biteable. You can use all of these royalty-free. You can put them in your videos, publish them on YouTube. There's no copyright associated with them, so it's really great to have access to those. So I just searched for a headshot and I picked my favorite one. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit just so it fits a bit better in the scene, and then drag it over to the side here. So that's pretty much it for our video. It's looking great. If I wanted to make it a bit longer, I could select Add Scene here. This will bring us back to the stock library, or you could pop into our animations folder and choose from any of the animations that we have. So at Biteable, we actually have an in-house studio team that creates all of these animations for us. So they are all unique to Biteable. They're constantly coming out with new relevant animations. It's really cool to see. One of our most popular ones right now is this diverse workplace stack. So it's perfect for training and internal comms. All of these characters, you can change the colors of the background, the skin color, hair color, clothing color. They're totally customizable. We recently added in these healthcare scenes too, which is pretty fitting for our current situation. So there's some pretty different and cool animations that you can choose from. For the sake of this video, I'm going to leave this template as is. It's just under a minute long. You can also put in some music. Biteable has about 86 different music tracks built in. Again, they're royalty free, so you can use them on YouTube without any copyright restrictions. Or you could also upload your own music track if you had a preferred song. So our video is ready to go. I'm going to preview it for all of you just so you can get a sense of what it looks like with the scene and the animation transitions, and then I'll show you how to download it. So here's our preview. All right, so our video is ready. It looks pretty cool. We're ready to download it. So I just click export on the left-hand side here, and then I'd select build high-res video. This will start the rendering process, and depending how long your video is, it does take a few minutes. So once your video is finished rendering, it will bring you to this screen here. You have a few different options on how you can share your video. You can download it directly to your computer, and you can download your videos on our free plan as well. There will just be a small Biteable watermark on it. You can also publish your video to the Biteable website. That way you can share it with just a link that's generated right here for you. And you can either share that publicly or you can hide it as well, so only people that have the link have access to it. You can share it directly to your social channels. If you just select it, it'll automatically bring up Twitter if you're already signed in and put that video in a tweet for you. And then finally, you can embed the video as well. So if you select embed, it generates this embed code. You can select if you want autoplay turned on or off. We're going to put it on for this case, and then you just copy the code. And that is what I'm going to pass over to Tanner, and we'll use that in our Coassemble course.
Amazing. That looks really cool, Haley. Thanks for running us through that. All right, so I'm going to share my screen again and basically take that code that Haley sent over to me and pop that right into Coassemble so it can be right alongside our other assets. While I'm bringing up my screen again, Haley, I wanted to ask, we got one question. Is there any limit to how long Biteable videos can be?
Yeah, that's a great question. So at the moment, we recommend making videos under 10 minutes long with Biteable. After the 10-minute mark, your videos will still work. You just might run into a few little bugs that come up here and there. So typically up to 10 minutes long, you'll have absolutely no trouble. Just after that 10-minute mark, it's gray area.
Cool. And I think that probably fits, honestly, with sort of best practices for training online. We know that videos can be really effective. Long videos are not necessarily the most effective. So we really like having videos in our training content here at Coassemble. I think it's really important to mix and match video content with other assets to keep the learner sort of engaged with the training content. All right, so I've got my screen back up. This is the one we were on before. What I'm gonna do is basically take that code from Haley and drop it into a brand new module. Now, if I wanted to add a module here, I just click add module, super easy. There are 7 different types of modules. Again, depending on the type of experience you want your learners to have at that stage in the training. I'm gonna go straight down to our standard module, video module. Check out how easy this is. The first thing I'm going to do is add the code from Haley. So let me go ahead and just grab that, add the URL, boom. And let's go ahead and add a title to that. Let's call it Rocket SaaS Culture. All right, and then lastly, let's just add a little text description. Now you can see one automatically populated here based off of where that video came from, but I can add any text that I want, and that'll sit right next to the video when it's deployed to the learner. So that's a really good way just to give them some context for what they're about to view, so they go in with the right sort of expectation for that video. We know one of the best things we can do in the training experience is just build that learner confidence all the way through, so they know what they're about to view before they view it. So we really want to set them up for success. All I'm going to do is hit done here. That'll load in, and boom, you can see that we have a video right there at the very end. Now, if I wanted to move that, say, right after the initial video, I could actually grab that on the left-hand side and just drag it all the way to the top. Super duper easy. I can rearrange my modules on the fly, really clean user experience there. And yeah, I can make changes to this even after I've sent out the course to my learners. So it's really, really cool. Now, if I wanted to add something, say, a finish screen or a certificate even, that's becoming more and more popular nowadays, is to be able to deploy a certificate. Coassemble does include a certificate builder. So if we wanted to deploy this to our learners, we can do that. It's really, really cool. A really good way to also make them feel like, I've accomplished something by actually completing a training program. Now, this is a newer feature to Coassemble. It was rolled out last year in 2020, and we know that our customers love it. So if you wanted to deploy a certificate, you can do that right from within Coassemble. We can also hit them with other types of fun messages here. We can customize the message right alongside that certificate if we want. And here's a fun one. If we wanted to hit them with confetti at the end of the course, we can do that as well. So that's how you put together a course on Coassemble. Now let's go ahead and preview it to see what it looks like from a learner side. And we'll just do a quick run through here so you can kind of get the best of both sides. All right, so here is our first page. This was the overview screen, if you remember that, sort of like our title page. And basically just setting the scene, right? Here's the context. I'm then gonna go ahead and click Start Course. And now I can actually go in and see all of the different assets that I have here. So on the left-hand side, a really clean menu, which I can collapse if I want, but sort of like a table of contents, right? So again, I'm just setting confidence for the learner. They know exactly what's coming down the pike. So I'm gonna collapse that. Now I can watch this video. You see it embeds directly into Coassemble. So no pop-out video player. I don't have to go to a different website in a new tab or a new window. It's really easy. It embeds directly in, and I can see as well my description here at the bottom. Very, very simple. From the top, I can go ahead and navigate to the next module. This will always stay at the top. On mobile, it's at the bottom. Coassemble's fully mobile responsive, I should have mentioned that. And we can just navigate through these different modules, right? Now, if I wanted to get into an example of a lesson, right? We talked about this earlier, sort of like a souped up PowerPoint. We can build those as well within Coassemble with pre-built templates. So you don't have to design from scratch. That would be pretty rough if you're trying to get a course out yesterday. You would want to use our templates. There's 40 different interactive templates for you to actually design training that will engage your learner. And what I mean by that is not just presenting like a block of text, right? If it's not a video, there are a lot of different ways to present information. Video is one. But if I wanted to actually present information that asks the learner to actually click or hover or move something or drag something. That is what these templates allow us to do. And I can actually click and you see the text pops in, way more engaging than old school like textbook but online style training, which is just not really going to move the needle with your learners. So that's what we mean when we say sort of like PowerPoint, in that it's screen-based, right? And we could put a series of these types of interactive screens all alongside each other. We can put in checkpoints to ask a question and make sure they understood what the topic was before they move on to the next one. But that's what we mean when we say sort of an interactive style, engaging learning. Now we can move to the next module again, which is another video that we have. I'll just hit play just so you can see. Plays right from within. Super duper easy. You get all your transitions that Haley showed you. Really, really cool. And then we can move to our final module, which is just going to be a quiz, right? So what doesn't belong in the company values? I'm going to go with B, we are mean. That is definitely not in our company values. And I'll submit that. Thank God I passed. And you can set this passing threshold at whatever you want. And then when I hit finish, just to hit you with the congratulations screen, you can see, great job, you're ready to go pro. And we don't have it here, but you can attach your certificate to this screen as well. So that's a really, really quick run through of Coassemble, both on the builder side, so what you'd see as a builder, right? And then also on the learner side, so what you'd see if you were receiving a course. All right, so we'll jump back into our presentation here. Beautiful. Now there are quite a few different training use cases, as you might imagine. Here at Coassemble, our user cases span the gamut. I'm sure it's kind of the same for Haley over at Biteable. There are a lot of different applications for this type of basically information dissemination. We do see these three that you see on screen as pretty common use cases. So for onboarding, right, this is your internal use case. You're maybe about to make a big hiring push, or maybe you have a steady stream of hiring sort of year round. What we want to do is number one, make sure that our new hires feel welcome to the business, right? I think that's one area where I know nowadays a lot of applicants for jobs are asking, what's the training look like? Am I going to be trained? Is it trial by fire? We want to make sure they're welcomed to the business, and they're also set up for success, right? So when they actually get there, they're able to access the training. It's not hard to get to, right? They don't have to get into a live session and make sure it fits around their other work schedule. They want to be onboarded into an asynchronous sort of training environment. And that's really, really easy to do with tools like Coassemble and Biteable. The next user case there is customer success. And this is one that we saw pick up a lot in 2020 as businesses found that they needed a way to sort of scale training to their customers. There's sort of two benefits to a customer success training. And by that, I mean customer success using training for your customers. Number one, if you're a platform-based business and you're trying to help your customer learn how to use your tool, what is going to help them become stickier than actually showing them how to use it effectively, right? To actually sort of take them by the hand and say, this is how we want you to use our tool or our service, or whatever it is that how you interact with your customers. Kind of think about it like a Zendesk, if you're familiar with like a help article, sort of like that. But again, like souped up, right? We're showing them courses, we're really walking them through, providing them with a video that can really show them like how to get the best use out of that tool or experience. A sort of a side benefit, or maybe even a primary benefit, is it frees up your customer success team. Gone are the days of having to hop on a call or do a ticket and walk the customers through the same questions that you get every day. Put together a course. When you get that question, how do I do X? How do I reset my password? Send them a course. Super easy. Doesn't have to be a complex course. Could be a 1-minute course that they run through. Could be a fun sort of exercise for them. So those are the first two. I'll flip it to Haley for marketing.
Perfect. Thanks, Tanner. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier in the webinar, I run all of Bitable's organic social channels. So as you can imagine, we use Biteable for all of our social videos. But it's not only beneficial on social and email for your paid ads, really anywhere. Biteable and videos in general are so great at catching people's eye. I have a feeling if you're like me, if you're scrolling through Instagram, you're more likely to stop and watch a video for a few seconds as opposed to just looking at a graphic that looks like everything else in your newsfeed. And we have a stat on one of our blog posts for video statistics from 2020. And it really jumps out to me, but videos generate 1,200% more shares than photo content on social media. So it just goes to show your content can be amazing, but if nobody's seeing it, then is it working for you? Probably not. So video is great because a lot of the social programs are pushing it out right now, especially with Instagram Reels and TikTok. Facebook's really favoring videos. It really gets your content out to a wider audience of people. So more people are hearing about you, they're seeing your content, they're learning about your product. It's just really beneficial and engaging. As I mentioned, TikTok, the #1 app downloaded of 2020, and YouTube is the second most popular search engine in the world. Both of those things are heavily video focused or entirely video focused. So it just kind of goes to show you the power of video, and especially short form video content. Videos that are less than 15 seconds long are really dominating right now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in 2021. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it'll continue to become more popular. So yeah, marketing is just another one of those great use cases for videos.
Cool. Thanks so much, Haley. And I agree with you. It is going to be interesting to see where we go in 2021. We saw a pretty massive shift in 2020, for reasons outside of everyone's control. There was a global pandemic, but it will be really interesting to see sort of where the trend goes in 2021. I think a lot of organizations we found, once they made that switch to using more online tools, they found a lot of value. I think a lot of organizations found that, moving to online, more sort of automated systems was a jump they knew they needed to get to eventually, but it wasn't necessarily on the front burner. Last year forced a lot of businesses to sort of make that pivot on the fly, and they found a lot of value in using some of these online systems. So it is pretty cool.
Yeah, completely agree.
Awesome. Cool. Well, that is today's presentation. There are a couple of things I just wanted to cover. So #1, we'll be here for another few minutes, maybe 5 to 10 minutes or so. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and pop them into the chat or question tab on the right-hand side. Also, there's going to be an offer coming to you. So because you were able to attend today's webinar, we do have a gift for you. Whether you're using Coassemble, Biteable, or none at all, we do have an offer to sort of pair the tools together if you're interested in that. So keep an eye on your email. That'll be coming shortly. Also included with that is a recording of today's webinar. So if you want to watch it again, share it with any of your colleagues, feel free to do so, but that'll be coming in your email shortly, just after this. All right, and I'm just going to go through some of these chat and questions to see if there are any questions that we can cover. Lori asks, are there certificates included in the standard Coassemble package, or is there additional cost? Yes, certificates are included standard in Coassemble. There is a premium certificate option where you just get more customization there. So if you're interested in that, talk to us. We have a customer success team if you're interested in adding that feature on, but certificates are included on every Coassemble plan.
In terms of Biteable, I've seen a couple of questions regarding Voiceover and audio files. And although we don't offer Voiceover at the moment, I am super excited to say that our team is currently working on bringing that to Biteable. It should be available sometime in this quarter, so probably before April. You will be able to record Voiceover and put it in line with your Biteable video. So that should be coming soon.
Ooh, Tim asks, this is a good question. Can I assign courses to a user in a specific order? Really good question, Tim. The answer is yes. Coassemble includes what's called a prerequisite function. So just like you're back in school and you have to take your courses in a certain order, say Algebra 101 before, Algebra 201 as an example, yes, you can do that on Coassemble. You can sequence the courses. So if you have a series of courses, parts 1 through 4, for example, yes, you could do that. And basically the learners will see all of the courses on their dashboard. They just won't be able to open up the subsequent courses until they complete whatever's required beforehand. Cool, and I see a lot of people asking about how to get access to Biteable. Keep an eye out for your email. There will be sort of a pathway for you to get access to Biteable if you don't already. Similarly, if you are a Biteable customer and you want access to Coassemble, you'll be getting an email. I believe that's coming later today, but if not, tomorrow at the latest, I would say. So just keep an eye on there, and you'll get access to both systems to work together if you'd like. Cool. Seeing a lot of really kind responses in the chat. I'm really glad to see that so many people got value out of today's webinar. We do a lot of these. I know Haley does them over at Biteable. Coassemble, we do webinars as well, typically at least once or maybe sometimes twice a month. So feel free to go to one of our web pages if you'd like to subscribe and check out more webinars like these. Yes, you can rewatch the video, Andrew. It'll be emailed to you just after we close today. All right. Well, I think that concludes today's presentation. Again, on behalf of myself here at Coassemble and Haley over at Biteable, I can't tell you how much I appreciate not only your attendance today, but also your engagement. It was really great to see so much activity over there on the chat, questions and polls today. So we're really excited. If you are interested in sort of bundling up Coassemble and Biteable together, reach out to us if you have any questions about how to do it. We've got a chat bubble in the bottom right corner. Haley, any closing words?
I echo exactly what Tanner said. It was great to chat with all of you today to show how Biteable and Coassemble can work together. I think it's a really exciting partnership that'll bring a lot of value to training programs. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about Biteable, we also have live chat on our website, an email address, or find us on social. I'll answer all of your questions. Happy to help.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Haley.